Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Good evening. At this time, we will recall to order the regular meeting of the Suffern Central Board of Education for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Let the record reflect all board members are present with the exception of Ms. Marlo Dickman. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we proceed, our district clerk is not here tonight, so we do need to, I do need to make a motion or ask for a motion for a vote to allow Mr. Larry Matone to be the district clerk for the evening. Dr. Nick Pond, that's a motion. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Donnelly? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, thank you all very much. Larry, I hope you've got hope your hand is ready to take a lot of notes. All right. All right. We're gonna talk as much as possible tonight. So just so that you can just keep going. All right. 1.07 student report. So I see that we have a student here tonight who's going to be and you know what? I will have the honor of introducing Caitlin Ruggiero, who I have known for such a long time. It is so nice to see you, and welcome to the Board of Ed meetings this year.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Caitlin Ruggiero. I'm the student representative for this year. I've lived in Suffern basically my whole life. I'm just going to tell a little bit about myself. I have a younger brother who is a sophomore at the high school as well, and I play field hockey and lacrosse. I love sports. So I'm just going to talk about what's been going on at the high school this past week. The start of school has been going very well. Last week, the seniors had an assembly about the college application process. Very stressful for some, but our guidance counselors are really good about helping us through it. Tomorrow's meet the teacher night for the parents. I know my mom's going to be there, even though she knows every single one of my teachers. The fall sports are off to a great start. Girls soccer, girls tennis, and football are currently undefeated. Speaking of the football team, Friday's the first home football game. The theme is USA. Everyone's very excited. The girls cross country team won the Lancer Invitational Week meet. And our first athletes of the week for this year are Michaela Fay from girls soccer and Jeff Joseph from football. Next Thursday at the high school, the Club Expo is going on during unit lunch. It's basically when all of the leaders of clubs at the high school set up demonstrations for their club. It's a really good time for students to get to join clubs. It's like a gallery walk outside. It's very fun. Honestly, one of my favorite days of the year. And then next Thursday is also the peer leadership workshop. It's when a bunch of my friends are a part of this. It's a full year elective course run by Miss Connolly. And each senior is assigned a group of freshmen who they kind of take under their wing. I remember being a freshman. It was super cool to have a senior buddy. And they're basically, the peer leaders are there to answer any questions. And they meet with the freshmen throughout the year. And this starts next Thursday. So that's it.
All right. Thanks so much, Caitlin.
Thank you.
The first one's always the worst, right? The first time you get up there, you talk. It'll be a lot easier next time. All right. 1.08 minutes of the regular meeting of September 6, 2023. Do I have a motion? Mrs. Hodge, is there a second? Mr. Frazier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? 1.09 superintendent comments.
Thank you very much. Kate, that's a hard act to follow. You did a great job this first time. I look forward to working with you throughout the course of the school year. And thanks so much for coming in and really setting a positive tone about all the great things going on at the high school. Great things are going on throughout all of our 7 buildings here at Suffern Central. We have Meet the Teacher Night this evening at the middle school, which is exciting. And that opens up the season for Meet the Teacher Nights in the Suffern Central School District. I do apologize for the overlapping of our school board meeting and Meet the Teacher Night at the middle school. We strive not to have these events overlap, but that was not the case this year. But for all of you that are going to be walking into classrooms and meeting your child's teacher, I know and I'm convinced that you're going to be meeting people that are truly dedicated to the success of our young folks here at Suffern Central. Speaking of the success of our young folks at Suffern, we are going to be moving forward at our next board meeting with a recommendation for restructuring our elementary schools beginning next September. So I look forward to sharing the details of my recommendation to the Board of Education at that time. And although I'll be presenting my recommendation, I think it's fair to say that the board will not be taking action that evening, but that will come at a future date.
Yes, that is correct.
Great. For all of those folks who have come to our community forums, who have sent me emails, that have engaged with me, at sporting activities, or most recently at the Sloatsburg PTA block party. I appreciate the feedback and the thoughts that you're all conveying to me. And certainly at our most recent Mounting Minds, we had a lot of great discussion about just the possibilities and what's to come next with this restructuring. So I look forward to that meeting. And then before I close, I want to introduce our Director of Communications, Ms. Jenny Mermelstein, and ask her to come on up and really provide us with an overview of our communication strategy, the work that took place last year, and what we are doing moving forward with regards to having that real two-way dialogue with our community. So, Ms. Mermelstein, thank you.
Thank you. I got to follow Caitlin. You did a really good job. Thanks for having me here tonight. We just wanted to give a little bit of an update around the communications department, because we haven't done that in a while, and we have a lot of awesome things going on. So as Dr. Gunderson said, just a quick little recap of what we did this past year and some of the things we're looking to do as this year continues. All right. So the mission for our department is to collaborate, communicate, support, and share. And we do that across a lot of different ways that you will get a chance to see. We work with all of the departments and all of the buildings, and we share as best as we can the complete information that we have, honestly and transparently. And we are the official source of information coming from the district. We run some social media accounts, Suffern Central SD on Facebook and on Instagram. And those are the official places that you can get information from what's going on here. So our priorities last year kind of aligned with the district goals, and to support those as we kind of went through the year. And we provide strategy from the district level. I work very closely with the superintendent on things that are going on, and across all of the departments and buildings as well. So an added resource to, when it comes to sending out communication regarding a variety of different things. We continue to share a lot of content creation, particularly on our social media feeds and through video and through printed materials. We spent a lot of time trying to build up and working to build up our community relationships, as you'll see, and creating and improving new opportunities to communicate across all constituencies. And we continued our partnership with Rockland BOCES. For those of you that don't know, I used to work for Rockland BOCES as a consultant for the district and have been on board at the district now for 2 years, or coming on to year 2. So communications has really taken a huge has had a lot of growth, especially coming out of COVID, when many school districts determined that it was more than just taking pictures and putting up stories, that there was a lot more that went into the communication. So that's kind of where my role falls. So just to quickly speak about our relationship with Rockland BOCES, we have a fantastic woman, Michelle Calcaterra, who is our BOCES consultant. She is in our buildings 4 days a week, and she is boots on the ground in all of the buildings, making sure that she's covering all of the things that are happening. So as you probably have seen, we have a lot of stories that we share on social media across our Instagram and Facebook pages. We are no longer on Twitter, or X as it's called now. So you can find our stuff here, and many of our buildings, all of our buildings, and many of our teachers have embraced Instagram, and on some of our administrators as well, and share their own content on there as well. So we average a month 75 to 80 stories. You will see across the board that cover all 7 of our schools, our district priorities as well, and we try and balance that out across all of the schools. We have more than 4,500 Facebook followers and 4,200 Instagram followers, and then our yearly reach, just that's how many impressions we've made on people throughout the year, are those numbers above 190,000, 45,000. Yeah, and that keeps growing every year. And we have about 1,700 or more subscribers on YouTube. And that's where you can see some of our videos as well as on social media. And throughout the past year, we did some campaigns around different content places, appreciation posts, highlights on instruction, athletics, coaches, extracurriculars. We love to show our passing down the pride when our older students work with our younger students, Mountie memories, and so much more. And then since Dr. Gunderson's arrival here a couple years ago, we launched the Suffern Scoop, which originally started as a video to kind of get the district to know him a little bit more and share what was going on in the district. We have since then created 20 videos, and they average about 3,000 views an episode, and they come out once a month. We're going to talk a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit about how that's going to shift a little bit this year. So in addition to all of the online content, we do also provide through print publications. We have shifted to twice a year. So those are just, they come in the mail. You guys all should have received one recently. And what shifted this year, so we shifted this last year in creating publications that were a little bit more specific to what we needed at the time. So back to school issue, and then just before the budget vote issue. So the budget one in the spring focuses a lot around where we're spending our money, and the one in the fall, particularly the one we just put out, is more about what you need to know for back to school. And if you didn't realize, we have this beautiful little pull-out calendar now, because in all of the work we did this past year, we recognize that not everybody is easy. It's not easy for everyone to get their information on a computer or on their phone. So we wanted to provide some easy information. And on the back of this pullout is a lot of phone numbers and emails for district and building people that can help you in if you need to. So that's where we're at with that. And that's really where BOCE spends the majority of their time. So just some other communications tools that we launched this past year. Our Suffern Central mobile app, if you don't have it, there's a QR code right there. You can take out your phone, scan it, and download the app. It is becoming our #1 source of providing information. You can get news feeds, you can get the calendar, and it's available on your phone, and it's free. Some of the really cool things that I don't know that everybody knows that we can provide on there is if you follow sports, there's a sports local live link on there. So anytime there's a live stream of any of the sports that are going on, you can go onto the app and click that button, and you will see what's there that day. The calendar, which includes the days of the week, A Day, B Day, C Day, D Day, all of those. My favorite, the directory, because it lists all of the schools, and then when you click on the school, it lists the phone number. So when I have to call my kid out sick or late, I can just go right onto that, my app, pick the phone number, hit dial, and it goes right to the phone. I don't have to keep it in my contacts. And then some things that maybe our students might find helpful. This is a resources page on the app, and this is the high school one I have up here. It has we have the rotation schedule and the rotating schedule. So we rotate out at the high school, so not all the classes are, not all period ones start at 7:30 in the morning. It took me like 3 years to figure that out when I first started here. So those are just some of the places that you can get more information. We also launched this past year Thought Exchange. I won't spend too much time on this, but this is an anonymous tool for us to gather information. We've had 12 with a bunch of participants, and we can dive into that. There's stuff on our website about those as well. Community outreach was a huge piece of our plan last year. As you can see here, there's some things that we were working on. We pride ourselves in prioritizing those community partnerships, particularly this past year with the Suffern Alumni Association, who just recently gave us a nice chunk of money for our music program. Thank you to them. Voice, which is a new club, a new organization that started this year to help get out the vote. That was an amazing group that started this year, and we worked with them closely to make sure that they had what they needed from the district standpoint. The Reach Foundation has been a longstanding community partner of ours. We did a little bit of different work with them this year. Police departments as well. Family Resource Center coordinators, we've added to them in the past years, and they are really our greatest source for working with and welcoming new families to our district. I'm looking at Joyce, this Lewisburg Food Pantry. We had a great relationship with them this past year. And we launched the Cybersecurity Academy and through an organization called Digital Promise, and that's really run through the high school and through the curriculum department, but I had a hand in the advisory board. So we have about 7 or 8 community members or local people that are either past students or parents or just business owners or community members who are interested in working with our students at the high school level on cybersecurity. So they'll be coming into the classroom and they'll be helping with potential internships and things like that. And then one of our biggest things we did last year, which we've talked about over and over again, is our Mountie Minds Advisory Council. Last year, we had over 100 applicants. We accepted 50 members, and we had 3 meetings. First one was on communication. Second one was on a survey we had launched in district values. And then we dove into the elementary school restructuring. People really enjoyed being a part of it. We did a survey at the end of the year, and these are just some of the things they said. They found they had a voice, that it was important that communication was happening between parents and the school, a little bit of an insight into what was happening in the district and administration. So that was really well received. And then to culminate the year, to culminate this One Suffern that we created last year, we had a celebration at the end of the year in which we had organizations from around the community. We partnered with the Reach Foundation. We had student-run activities. We had a whole bunch of student volunteers. That was great. We started a little internship program in the communications department, and our arts and music programs, and school principals and everybody got involved. We even had an art show. So that was really our biggest kind of way to bring everybody together last year and culminate this idea of One Suffern, which kind of was our theme throughout the whole year. So here's what's to come. We are building on this idea of One Suffern and moving forward with a little bit more of like One Suffern Connects, right? We are not just individual buildings, we are one district, and we're working towards this year a lot on how we can, just foster that relationship a little bit more, not only with our buildings, but our staff and our community members as well. So we, in the Excelsior that just came out, we highlighted our 4 priorities for the district, and this is really what drives the communication department and our work throughout the year, focusing on well-being, improving operations. That includes communication and safety protocols, district policies, always focusing on curriculum and instruction and professional development. So you'll see a lot of that support from my office with that. And then redesigning the elementary school experience, which we will talk about. So our content creation will continue with focusing on those priorities. We're revamping the Suffern Scoop a little bit this year. It's going to be more student-centered. No offense to Dr. Gunderson, but we are working on just getting student voice out there as much as possible. So you'll see a little bit, it'll be driven a little bit more by our students, which will be fun to watch. We have new campaigns coming. We're launching an alumni campaign. So if you are watching or you know anybody that's doing something really fabulous as an alumni, reach out to my department. We're going to be focusing on and showcasing where our Suffern graduates are now. And always emphasizing connection, and anything that we put out, we're also working to be intentional, especially around our print materials. One of the things we learned from our communications meeting at the Mountie Minds, and that we know and that we're working on, is that paper is not dead. In fact, it's coming back, and that print it's important to have things in print for our families to read and see and take home. So you'll see that continue. And our Mountie Minds, I'm happy to say, is continuing again as well this year. This new cohort has 80 plus members. We upped it. We had way more applicants, and we thought the more the merrier. So, we have everybody in there from teachers, realtors, police officers, nurses, coaches. There's business CEOs, RCC, professors. We have, I believe there's 24 staff members, 14 of which are actually parents. We've got some students in there as well. And as you can see in those stats, it's pretty well spread out amongst all the schools. Obviously, it's higher at the middle and high school because everybody funnels there. And then on the other side, it's just how long have you lived in the district, and a lot of people have lived there for, over 10 years. So it's really great to see the involvement. Our meetings will be, we had one last week, we have one in November, January, and April. The last one focused on the elementary restructuring and things we can do once that plan is proposed and voted on, how we can make it a seamless transition using a bunch of different avenues. And then we're looking to really focus on some other things, curriculum, secondary level stuff. What do people want to see from the district? How can we better support some of our families and our students? We're bringing a big focus this year to internal communications. So one of the other things we heard is that, our staff wants to be more connected. We launched this One Suffern Connects at opening day. We launched a staff newsletter that'll go out twice a month. There's a little bit of on the presentation you can see, but it's basically just a short little newsletter that just says what's going on. Sometimes there's information that people need. Sometimes it's highlighting staff. Working on just providing more meaningful staff appreciation days, not just like a shout out on social media, but what can we do behind the scenes too to make our staff feel appreciated? And well-being is a big focus this year as well. External communication, reaching all parents. Another thing we heard last year is that it's not consistent across buildings, how our parents are communicated. So we now provide for all of our buildings a really easy to use newsletter tool called S'mores. Some of you might have seen it already from your building. If you haven't, it's coming. I think the middle school launched theirs last week, and that was a big feat because that's something that we've been pushing for, and they were excited to do that for us as well. We also are encouraging all of our coaches and our extracurricular advisors and our teachers to use the Remind app. It is an application that you don't even need to download the app. You can just subscribe to the class or the group, and you will receive text messages anonymously, and you can message back the advisor anonymously. So it's very, it's easy to use. It translates into different languages as well. So a coach can speak to a non-English speaking parent and back and forth. So that you'll start to see more as well. And we are continuing our mass notification using texting and calling for important information, and our app as well. So translation services and enhanced multi-language communication opportunities are also on the forefront for us. We're really working hard to make sure that we reach all of our parents. And last year we brought student voice to the board meetings of the plays and the musicians and everybody that came and spoke or sang, and we're hoping that we'll have that back for you again this year. And then lastly, my department is here to support the elementary school plan as we prepare to potentially restructure the elementary schools. We're developing different workshops and avenues for parents and students to engage with each other, to learn about things, connecting our staff members and families and students in a bunch of different meaningful ways. You'll see a bunch of that happening come this spring. We got some great ideas from our Mountie Minds group last week. We're going to be exploring school identities, what it means for the schools if they shift, changing and updating our website and communication tools, and then having our second One Suffern celebration at the end of May. And it'll actually be before the budget vote this year, so that'll be exciting. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Thank you. If you have any questions, I am here. And that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Marblestein, I want to thank you for the comprehensive overview. And the reason why I say comprehensive is that it really does paint a picture about how focused this Board of Education and our administration and school community is on communicating and reaching out to our community members. So thank you very much for sharing all the details of what you and your team of one other individual and a few interns have done. It truly is remarkable. And when I introduced you before, I said that you're the Director of Communications, but I neglected to leave out the other aspect of your title that is equally important. That really is Community Relations, Director of Communications and Community Relations, because that's what it is all about, communicating and reaching out to folks throughout our community, and making sure that they have a voice and that we're sharing information. So I want to thank you very much for sharing all this with
Thank
us tonight.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Excellent presentation. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Any questions for Ms. Mermelstein before she gets to sit back down? I don't know how anybody could have any questions after all that information,
Too
but
much.
no. I mean,
Was I
it was-
on my time?
no, it was great. It was extremely informative and it was wonderful. Really.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
This concludes the superintendent's report for September 19th, 2023. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. 1.10 public participation. This is public participation on action items only. If there is anybody who wishes to speak on our action items for tonight, you can approach the podium at this time. Okay, seeing as there are none, we will close that portion of the meeting and move into our action items for this evening. Tonight, we have action items 2.01 through 2.18, and I would call for a consent agenda at this time. Are there any items anyone wishes to pull from a consent agenda? Nope. Okay. So then 2.01 through 2.18, do I have a motion? Mr. Frazier, second. Mr. Shapiro. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? Okay. Thank you all very much. Moving on, 6.01, board member comments. Are there any board member comments at this time? Oh, okay. 7.01, public participation. This is public participation on district-related business. If there are any district-related matters that anyone wishes to speak to, you can please approach the podium. Please state your name and district affiliation. Please refrain from mentioning any students or faculty by name, and please try and keep your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, hi, thank you. My name is Joyce Donahue. I'm from Sloatsburg. I just wanted to follow up with something that came up at the June 6th meeting, which regarded the nurses union. They had brought up some concerns about support staff and substitute nurses. I had sent a message to the board, but I hadn't heard anything back, and I haven't been able to come to any meetings. So I just wanted to know if any progress has been made, if anyone knows anything about that, or if someone could follow up with me and let me know. Is that better? Okay, all right, thank you. And one other question, because I have a little bit more time. The forums, I wasn't able to make any of the forums in August, the community forums, and I wanted to review any minutes or any recordings, because I know the board is really good about doing the recordings for these meetings, and a lot of people watch them. But I was told there are no minutes or recordings from them. That's not, okay. Is there any way to view any of that feedback? I'd be interested in being able to see what the community had said. Yes? Okay, that was it for me. Oh. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. And just in regards to your comment about the nurses, someone will get back to you via email. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Solomon. I'm a Suffern alumni, parent, and member of SPLASHED, which stands for Suffern Parents for Literacy Action, Support, and Help Educating Dyslexics. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. 1 year ago, members of this group stood up here and spoke at the Board of Ed meeting, voicing our concerns about the services in our district specific to literacy. Over the course of the last 12 months, we've had conversations listened to, have had several meetings with the district, countless meetings with struggling parents, have seen the conversations surrounding literacy, dyslexia, and the curriculum grow, and have taken part in conversations surrounding the identification of children with literacy struggles, as well as the implementation of new elementary literacy programs that are science-based and proven to benefit all types of learners. We're proud of these efforts and this progress. We are proud that the topic of literacy and a focus on how we teach all children to read is becoming more normalized. We are proud that our efforts have been noticed by parents in need of help and guidance, other local districts, local news outlets, as well as senators on the state level. But very few roads to success are a straight one. There have been and continue to be many bumps along the way. Although we clearly realize that implementing a more current and successful curriculum to address both the low literacy rates of our district and the needs of different learners is not something that can happen overnight, we remain concerned about the overall lack of progress being made to address the needs of children that have already been identified as needing specialized help. These children have been struggling for years. Despite service plans that have been put in place, many are still not progressing. Why? It's simple. The services remain inconsistent and unaddressed in the proven way they need to be implemented. Despite being told repeatedly that our district will be hiring fully certified Orton-Gillingham instructors, there still remains none as of the start of this school year. How can this be? How could we hire 18 plus new staff members this year alone and not even one of them be a fully certified Orton-Gillingham instructor? There has been chatter that there may be one new hire, but definitely not in time for a seamless transition for this new school year. And if in fact there is one new hire, what is the district's plan to distribute this single person service across all 3 levels of schools? It certainly can't be a budget issue. After all, this is Suffern Central School District. So what is it? How many more meetings do we need to stand up here asking for the same things? When will we get a chance to meet with Molly Ness, the literacy expert the district has contracted out with, who is supposed to be assisting with this? There are children being put in classes incongruent to their needs, such as ELL, simply because they don't fit in somewhere now due to years of failed IEP and 504 plans. There are children afraid to go to school because they still can't read, and the snowball effect of this is paralyzing both academically, socially, and emotionally. We have children who've had to forfeit electives that they look forward to exploring so they can take support classes, only to have those supports not be appropriate or effective. There are children who have to take on hours of additional remedial instructions outside of school at the parents' expense because what they are receiving during the day is not yielding adequate progress. Many have years of goals that are never reached, countless meetings that prove to be smoke and mirrors and unfulfilled promises. When will it end? When will we have a certified, qualified, and specially designated literacy coordinator to oversee the literacy program as a whole? There is a need for a qualified coordinator to implement teacher training and certifications, assess and adjust current literacy programs, educate and implement assistive technology, which is so vital for so many students, coordinating parent resources and supports, monitoring the methods of measurement, and so on. Someone who can design, present, and implement a transparent district-wide literacy plan that will not only benefit the younger children and the ELL children, but those who seem to be slipping through the cracks, skating by under the radar, the ones we're just putting Band-Aids on until they age out of the system. The window of time is closing in quickly on these learners. The truth is, these kids should be recognized not for their different abilities, but for their incredible and unique ability to see things differently. Imagine school being a place where these children can thrive and actually get to use these gifts and strengths they have instead of feeling inadequate because of them. Instead of time in ineffective pullouts, they could be participating in programs like our PBL instead of missing out on them. They are the inventors, the innovators, the problem solvers. Their strength is often born out of the struggle they endured early on. Just look at Richard Branson, Steven Spielberg, Walt Disney, and Henry Ford, some of the greatest minds of our generation, all dyslexic. The good news is we know how to fix these issues. We always have. It starts at the top with the recognition of the problem, and we have definitely begun to scratch the surface. However, we have a ways to go and work to do. Again, 18 plus new staff members hired this year. Have any been hired to support the specific literacy needs that we've been addressing for over a year? Remember, 1 in 5 people have dyslexia. That's approximately 20% of our district's population. How are we servicing these children? Our parent group remains ready and willing to continue the conversations and to collaborate on solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Hello. My name is Mariana Grichevsky. I'm from Slotsburg. I'm a community member. I'm on the board of Slotsburg Chamber of Commerce. I'm on the board of on the planning board. I spent several years with Scouts. I love my community and everything related to my community. I'm here express my concern about school restructuring. Yeah. We think it's a really bad idea. Yeah, and I tell you why. It's dividing our community. It's based on fear. People afraid to speak up. We have so many people who work for district. They afraid to speak up. Their parents is afraid to speak up because they have children. This is really bad situation. And damaging community relationship. And you were having presentation, it was like mocking because it's damaging community. I've been building relationship with different communities for years in Slotsburg. This is damaging relationship. This project based on forced and everything based on forced will backfire in the long run. It's not supposed to be like that. Community is supposed to support every project you start here. This project is not supported by community. It's forced on community. And this is gonna end really badly. And it's gonna backfire on election, in the spring on the budget support. And last year, we supported budget 3-1. And we usually really participate, Slotsburg participate. We texting each other, we know it's important. By the way, I'm missing meeting, my daughter's meeting, back to school meeting with teacher in middle school right now, because I think this is more important than that. I'm very, very concerned. We think Slotsburg shouldn't be part of it. You shouldn't start a project like this, not this way, no. Absolutely not. We collected signatures. We have already 150 signatures and 15 of them businesses of Slotsburg. We don't like it. We don't want to be part of it. I went to school block party as well, and I spoke with all the parents because I was collecting signatures. A lot of people don't know about that. And some of them, families who doesn't speak English, Spanish families, they have no idea what it is. And they invest in the community, in neighborhoods. They buy houses, they pay mortgages just because of that school. They rent apartments and they don't have money, and then they don't have luxuries to move around. They invest in that community. We're not supporting this project, not this way. You should have been more transparent. You should have taken 1 year at least and go through the families, like put papers in the children's backpacks, explaining everything. Make sure every family understand. Make sure every family on board. Make sure that people vote for this. They have say in it. Because wait until spring, wait until election, wait until we have to support the budget. A lot of angry people suppress anger. It's not really good. It's not really good situation. So I'm saying no to this project, and 150 people from Slotsburg so far saying no. So there's a lot to think about. And I have one question which everyone is asking in Slotsburg. What if the board of direction votes no to this project? What's going to happen to Slotsburg School? Could you answer me right now, please?
We will reach out to you. This is not a dialogue. This is your opportunity to speak, but it's not a question and
I
answer.
understand. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers at this time? Okay. We'll close this portion of the meeting. We'll move on to superintendent closing comments.
Thank you very much. I'll be sure to reach out to actually all three individuals who spoke this evening, as I know that you posed some questions that I'll be able to get back to you in a little bit more detail. This concludes my superintendent closing comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just a quick note. Generally, our meetings. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I'm getting a whole meeting ahead of myself by saying this. When it comes to October meetings, there will be a 3-week gap between October 3rd and October 24th. But our next meeting will be its standard 2 weeks from now. It will be Tuesday, October 3rd. And as Dr. Gunderson has already stated earlier, at that time, he will be presenting a final plan to this board, recommending which direction administration feels is right for a elementary restructuring. And to clarify again, there will not be a vote on that night. A proposal will be laid out to the board, to the community, and we will vote on that proposal at our next meeting 3 weeks later on October 24th. Okay. So at this time, we will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion? Mr. Shapiro, second. Mr. Frazier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you all very much. This meeting is adjourned. Have a great couple of weeks, and we will see you on October 3rd.